Question number 10, Chris Hipkins.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. To the Minister of Education, is she confident that her government is fully resourcing the Ministry of Education to provide quality support for schools and students?
The Honourable Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, yes. My focus is not just on how much money is being spent, but also where it's being spent and how effective it's being. We should be using taxpayers' money efficiently to provide support and assistance for those students who need it most.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Chris Hipkins.
Did the Ministry of Education fail to meet 3 out of 4 special education services performance targets? If so, how is that an indication that they are being sufficiently resourced in order to ensure there is a quality of support for schools and students?
The Honourable Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, there was indeed a $3.6 million underspend in special education. Mostly it was outside of the direct control of the Ministry, as 2/3 of it, $2.4 million, was in expenditure by schools. The remaining funds of $1.2 million was an accumulation of amounts underspent in the network contingency, the intensive wraparound service and incredible years teacher. Despite these underspends, the Ministry has in fact helped an additional 2,818 children with early intervention services over the target set for that year.
Supplementary question, Chris Hipkins.
Why has the Ministry of Education cut 41 frontline special education staff since 2011?
The Honourable Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, I'm not aware that the Ministry of Education has cut frontline staff of that description. I'm not aware that the Ministry has cut those...
Order.
I'm not sure if you want to hear me answer, you just want to shout over the top of me. We have the employment decisions are made by the Secretary of Education. We have increased funding for special education by 26%. We are currently undertaking an update of special ed because there does need to be improvement in the way that services are provided to kids who need it most, and that is why the Ministry has been conducting this year over 157 workshops with parents and school communities to understand how that service can improve.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Chris Hipkins.
Is she satisfied that at the same time the Ministry of Education has cut the number of special education advisors, speech and language therapists, early intervention teachers, the amount of spending on public relations staff at the Ministry has increased by almost 200%? If so, why?
Wow.
The Honourable Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, while that is true, the order of expenditure in both those items is significantly different. Special ed is $530 million and has gone up 26%. The communications budget is $2 million and has gone up by the amount the member speaks about. That has largely gone into improving and integrating the websites, of which there were a proliferation, in order to ensure that parents and educators had quick and easy access to the information they require. It has resulted in a 2-weekly newsletter with principals, which they greatly appreciate, and being far more responsive to the concerns that schools have raised.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Chris Hipkins.
By how much has the Ministry of Education spending on press secretaries and communications advisors increased during that period of time?
The Honourable Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, I can't give that specific...
Order. Order.
Are you feeling happy as a result of that? I can't give the specific figure for that, but what I can tell the member is this. The employment decisions are made by the Secretary for Education, not by me.
Question number 11. Order.